Okay, this is an exterior only workflow. I put all the exteriors into the quick collection here. First thing you'll do is you'll get in the library mode. You're going to click metadata. If you don't see this metadata, you just have to go to View, Show Filter Bar. So we're going to filter by the lens type, and we're going to start with this 8-16 here. And we'll go back to Develop. And we're going to run the 8-16 lens correction. I've actually done it already on this. It comes in like this. You run the 8-16. Then you're going to sync. You're going to select all, and you're going to sync. And you're going to make sure everything is checked. Just click Check All, because you want to sync that lens correction onto all of them. And hit Synchronize. Again, I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it. Then you'll go to the next lens, the DT 18-55, and you'll find that preset right here, DT 18-55. You'll run it, and once again, you'll select all and sync. And when you sync, you want to check everything because you're syncing the lens corrections. So you're going to want to do that with every lens. The last one would be the EF 18-55. Then when you hit finish, you go back to all three lenses. Always go back to that, otherwise you won't be working in a complete set. And back to Develop. Okay, we've run all the lens corrections. Now these lens corrections are actually built for the interiors, so it changes the white balance to something we don't want. So this is a very important step. It's basically step 2 after lens corrections. You go to the AA exterior color upright. What that does is it changes the color correction back to as shot. And it also runs an upright transformation, which is useful on the fronts, not so much on the backs. Then I'm selecting every picture in the quick collection, and I'm going to sync them. Now this is very important. You don't want to sync all the lens corrections because these are all different lenses. So you uncheck that, but you do want to sync upright mode because that will straighten them all. It'll analyze each one individually and straighten them. And you hit Synchronize. Okay. So now they are set with a very rough approximation of what we want them to be before going into Photoshop. So the last thing I do here is I go through and I knock out the duplicates. I just pick the best one. Like that one's a little better, so I'm going to knock it out of the quick collection. Knock this one out right here. Probably going to take the close one here. Knock out the far one. I'm going to keep all 4 of these because they're slightly different angles. All 5 of them, in fact. These 2 look like duplicates. Gonna knock that one out. Some of them will be too dark. Actually, that's pretty good. Some will be too light. If you have really light leaves, sometimes you want to actually get them darker and add some contrast. That makes it easier to add the sky in. Yeah, see, this is too light. I'm going to sync all these. Okay. I'll straighten this one before I take it into Photoshop. Oh, yeah, see, that's the auto straighten. Auto straighten doesn't always work. Something like that. little horizontal. I'll rotate, that's a little better. I'll make it a little bit brighter contrast here. Knock this out. That's too dark. That's better. Okay. That's too yellow. Once you have them where you want them, you're going to go into Photoshop. I usually take 10 at a time. Edit in Photoshop. And then this is pretty much what you already know from the other tutorials and from experience. So once they're all open in Photoshop, make sure you clone stamp out these signs. Left in the yard. If it's too dark, I might run the bright action. If it's too light, I might run the dark contrast action. This looks pretty good though. So I'm going to run sky plus defringe 3000. And I'm going to start by painting out the fringe sky. Make sure my opacity is 100. My brush is black. Just painting out anywhere that might have bled over. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to hit X to change it to a white brush and go up to the defringe sky. I'm just going to defringe the leaf tops. These actually are pretty much already looking good. But that's generally what you'll do. You don't want to go over the whole sky up here. Sometimes you introduce a pattern in this odd defringe. So that looks good. If I couldn't defringe it all, I might turn off the blue bleed like that. I'm going to leave it on right now. I'm going to go through my color balance, brightness, and saturation. Just do it to my eye. Add a little more contrast and a little more brightness. Really make that pop. Color balance is a little yellow, so I'm just going to turn it off. It's a default 5 ticks to the yellow. And saturation defaults at +10, so I can turn it off. I don't know, it's pretty close. I'm going to leave it on. I think we're done. Just knock that out, and you go to the next image and do the same. Don't miss that sign there.